I've spotlighted myself. Um, so we're going to speak about how to make short form videos. My name's Robin. I'm from Fossil Free London. What we do in Fossil Free London is disruptive and protest action against the fossil fuel industry. And in order to get new people into our group, we're always putting videos and images of our actions out on our social media platforms. Our lead platform is Instagram, and we would also put some of that content on TikTok, Twitter, maybe elsewhere as well. Facebook, YouTube Shorts is really easy. You just upload it to another place, goes out to more people. But we lead with Instagram, and it's how we get a lot of our new members joining our group, getting excited, seeing what we're doing. And it's also a key space in which we question the social license of the fossil fuel industry in more like proactive content that talks about fossil fuel politics, that talks about inequality in society, that maybe, you know, when a CEO gets a massive bonus, we can do a video that talks about that. And we do that with like selfie video largely, maybe with a green screen behind, which is a simple setting where you could put like a news article behind your face and talk, for example. So I say on our Instagram, we have these main forms of content. We'd have like photos of our action, we'd have like promotional material, we'd have videos of actions, and videos of more proactive content. So as I say, it could be a selfie video with this green screen function. It could be going out on the street and talking to people with a microphone, which is a really easy way to get a lot of views for whatever it is, whatever key message you have that you want to communicate, or sort of things like that, videos that might respond to the news, etc. So that'd be the main things we'll be doing. And in this training, I'd like to talk to you about our most like effective things that we use, which are those two video forms. And that's like making a video based on an action or making a video based on some piece of news or idea you want to talk about. And those could either be done on the street, filming other people, or in your own space, filming yourself. Welcome to the person who's just joined. So what I want to say is like, videos are where social media is going. The only thing that touches how effective videos are memes when they're done really well. And like, I mean, really well, like they should be largely applicable. A lot of people should look at them and think, I see myself in that. That's the real benefit of a meme. And a lot of the memes made by the climate movement are like not super widely applicable. If you want to see some examples of some really good memes, go to Earthly Education, or go to like major meme pages and have a look. But anyway, this but this training isn't about memes. If you want to know more about memes, we can talk about that another time. Put that to one side. Otherwise, you need to be making videos, really, because as we know, these social media platforms are attention vultures. They want us to have our attention on their platform as much as possible. And the way you do that is by having people talking and engaging with you, not still images. So that takes me to my preface of this training, which is to say, really consider whether you want to be part of this attention deficit economy that we're all being pulled into, that's affecting the infrastructure, the physicality of our brains, that's affecting how we relate to one another, and obviously involving our campaigns in a wheel of advertising that we might not want to be a part of, because ultimately social media is trying to advertise things to people. That's their business model. It's free for the consumer. So that means you're the product. So first of all, I think it's important for your campaign to consider, do you want to use social media in this way? Do you actually want to have an effective Instagram channel? Does that align with your politics? Or TikTok or whatever? And secondly, like, is it right for your campaign in terms of the time invested? Because the problem with the attention vulture nature of social media is you're going to need to update it very, very regularly, ideally daily, with new exciting content that has value. Is your organization able to meet that? Because if you have a few people in your organization, if it's more grassroots, who say, we could do some social media, make no mistake, they will drop off because it's quite a lot of work, and you need to keep that hamster wheel going, because the moment you drop and you stop using your platform, all those followers that you have listed at the top start to not see your content even when you post it. So it is really beginning a treadmill, and you really need to keep going on it for as long as you want your campaign to be effective. So consider, does your organization have capacity to do that? The third thing to consider after political considerations, is it the right place for you to be sharing your message? And organizational capacity is your own personal desires. Social media can be quite toxic for us. We know this. How are you personally going to experience having to be on these social media platforms all the time, both in terms of the time it takes, in terms of the effect it has on your attention, your ability to engage with people, and in terms of just how it makes you feel if you put your face saying something on the internet and a load of people you don't know say some nonsense underneath it, including things that might be unkind. So I think that's worth considering. Do I actually want to get to the successful place that I'm imagining? What would be the cost of that? So that's just my preface, because I'm not here to promote the benefit of using social media. I have a lot of criticism of social media, as is probably apparent from that preface. So I don't want to promote that, but if that is your choice, then this is the advice that I would give to you in terms of what is useful. What I might do now is, just in the interest of not talking loads, is just open it up to anyone who wants to shout with what they think is one of the most important ingredients of an effective social media video. And maybe you can just popcorn, take yourself off mute, say what it is.
I think text, when people are talking, that the text comes in the image.
Yeah, subtitles, perfect.
Yeah, subtitles, thank you.
Other thoughts?
Humor.
Yep. Yeah, being engaging. Humor, I think, is one of the ways you might be engaging. Are there any others from anyone else?
People.
What did you say?
People, literally seeing people.
Yeah, faces. Faces are engaging. Humor is engaging.
Getting an emotion across, so either get people angry or sad, or make them laugh, maybe.
100%.
Visually attractive, but maybe that's also engaging.
I think engaging, we're speaking more about content, what are we getting across, what emotion or pull, and a bit like subtitles, I'd say the visual is more technical. When you filmed it, is the light behind the person like this, so you can't really see my face, or is the light in front of the person like this, where you can see me? I look immediately better, and it's easier to look at me than if the light's behind me. So that visual, I would say, really important. That's about filming. What else might be important about filming? I know a lot of filmmakers here, as well as what it looks like.
Well, it depends on the platform, but if it's if you film it straight or horizontally, I think it depends on the platform. Yeah.
In this day and age, we're always going portrait. It's portrait. You're holding your phone like this rather than like that. For a long time, filmmakers are pushing back and being no, it has to be like this, but we've lost that battle. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker, but people have lost that battle. Everybody films like this because this is how we hold our phones. And when we consume content, we see it like this, right? So if it's a landscape image, we're seeing black either side. It's not as engaging. You're getting much less of a chance to grab someone because you're just showing them a smaller picture. You want to show them as big picture as possible, so you do a portrait. But what I was leading towards is, as well as what it looks like, it's also really important what it sounds like. If the audio is rubbish, and you can't quite hear, or there's crackling and it's unpleasant, people are going to switch off if they've got the sound on. Although it is worth knowing that the vast majority of social media videos are watched with the sound off. So just for a sake of having some pride in what you're doing, I wouldn't put out poor quality audio, because many people will watch it with the sound. But it's also worth knowing that the sound itself can't be the whole story because people watch it with the sound off. And that's why subtitles, as Charlotte said, are incredibly important. They're also important for accessibility for people who can't hear or are hard of hearing. So yeah, other thoughts. What else makes an effective social media video?
To go to the point in few seconds.
Yes, perfect. All these engaging strategies need to happen in the first 2 seconds, because you can have a video that's really humorous at 40 seconds, but in the first 2 seconds is when people decide, am I going to give this my time or not? If you think to some videos that you've seen, what strategies do people use in those first 2 seconds to get your attention?
They speak to you directly. They say, hi, my name is, and I'm here to do this or that, or yeah. So
Yes,
like
possibly, but I think they even go further than that, because maybe everyone who's making a video filming themselves could say, hello, I'm me. But like, what makes them interesting in that moment? Like, why are they, like, what are they doing to pull someone in?
maybe ask a question, or
yeah.
Make them curious.
Good. Yeah, curiosity is good. I think there's basically a ton of hooks that you could use that fall in under different categories that prick someone's attention. So we all know about articles with clickbait headlines that, like, you wouldn't believe what Johnny Depp did at the BAFTAs. And despite yourself, you're like, oh, I really would like to know. Even like, I don't even like the BAFTA. But what if it's something really interesting? Oh. So things that start like that, like a clickbait headline, are really good because they pull people in. And they make them watch till the end, which is top tip. If people don't watch to the end of your video, you don't get that view and they don't send it to more people. If everyone who gets pushed your video in the first little push watches till the end and maybe engages with it in some way by liking it, saving it, sharing it, commenting on it, they will push it to more people. If people watch it for a bit and then stop, it could be a really, really good first bit of your video, but that view doesn't count and they won't show it to as many people. So another, like, one of my most important things, like, other than engaging, which I think is the top one, my second most important thing is that it needs to be as short as possible to communicate a single idea. Like, it is a video on a social media platform. It cannot be a treatise on war and peace or like capitalist injustice. It has to be one single message that you want to get from your head into thousands of other people's heads who are watching it online. And they're seeing thousands of videos in a week, probably. And you just have that one chance to get one thing across. And really, if it takes 3 seconds to get that across, your video should be 3 seconds. And any chaff, any like needless extra that you can cut, because your video will go much further. So number one most important thing, that it is engaging and it engages in the first few seconds. And number two, as short as possible. I think 2 is quite easy, so let's go back slightly to 1. How is it as engaging as possible? So we've said we could do like a clickbait, like you'll never guess. Also, another thing you can do is be surprising. So people tend to not watch videos where they know already what it's going to say or what's sort of going to happen, because we're all busy and like, why would we? Even I sometimes, like, you know, other activist videos, if I sort of get the idea from the still of the video, maybe I don't watch it. So what we can do to ensure that people do is start with something surprising. So Fossielvrij London did a video that started, don't recycle. And then we spoke about how a lot of people will use recycling as an excuse to not do other forms of climate action. And we sort of at the end said, you know, disclaimer, like obviously still recycle, but don't use it as an excuse. But that meant that a lot more people watched it, because why are these environmentalists telling us not to recycle? That's interesting. I'm going to watch that. Whereas if we just started by saying, hey, like a lot of people use this as an excuse, isn't that really bad? We wouldn't have brought as many people in. And if you look up like hook books, like good hooks for social media videos online. You can just take those ideas and then try to apply it to your campaign. So one concept is all you need to know about banks and the climate crisis in 1 minute. And then you sort of put a timer and you explain it in a minute, or what you'd wish you didn't know about Barclays and people dying in Palestine, or something like that. Some sort of curiosity provoking question where you're posing something they'd like to know the answer to, and you're also offering them the answer to that in a short space of time, is a good format. We've also done like just totally disconnected things, right? So I said you could be unexpected. You could also just start your video with something totally unrelated. So we did a video in which one of our members was wearing like a mankini, you know, from Borat, they're like green, like swimsuit. He was wearing that and he was like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what happened in Harry's new book. And then like, that was it. Like it didn't then refer to Harry's book. And he was sat there like in a newsroom being like, the UK government is going to allow new oil and gas fields in the North Sea. And like, so people are watching it like, oh, and then suddenly they're into your video and they're like, oh, that's funny. That's like not what I was expecting. And before they know it, you've got your information into their head about like climate injustice. So if you can start with something fun and disconnected, you will also get more people that way. So yeah, any other thoughts about how to engage in the first few seconds? People also said humor, be funny. Like, I think that's possible. Though it can be tricky because that obviously depends on having someone able to do these things. So some strategies will obviously be easier than others. Like not everyone will want to dress up in a mankini and like be silly. Not everyone will be charismatic or humorous on camera, and that's okay. But if what you have is like really clear communicators able to express things, you can use like different strategies, like explain it in 60 seconds or whatever. Cool. So that would be the first, be engaging in the first few seconds. The second, as short as possible. Third thing you need is like subtitles, absolutely imperative. People don't watch it without, people watch it without sound, and it's important for accessibility. And fourth, think about the product, like the thing you're putting out. Make sure the image is good and the audio is good. And then finally, like my fifth thing, does anyone have any thoughts about like what's missing, like what we haven't covered, or like what would make a good video?
And maybe a story that you want to carry out an idea, but that you maybe want to tell a story around it.
Yeah, I think storytelling is like a good strategy. I think it doesn't need to be present in every video, because some very effective videos could be even like a still of someone, like not a still, but like a single shot, a single video of someone doing something with text like over the top. So it's a good idea, but I think it needn't be the case for all videos. Any other thoughts?
Like content-wise, maybe something people have not heard before that, yeah, it's a bit specific and new.
Nice. Yeah, I think that comes under engaging. Like, how would you like bring people in, give them something unexpected, something engaging? Definitely, definitely. I think the final thing is like, why now? Like the timing. You're sort of doing your own news, you're getting stuff out there, and social media is very immediate. So if you've done an action, we always like this. Today is like the only time this isn't true, because we did an action yesterday and I'm sending the video out today, but it's a very busy time at the moment. But almost always, with the exception of today, we would put a video about an action out that day. A lot of NGOs, for some reason, I think because they get like filmmakers in, will not release it till like the next week. And I'm like, I don't know why that decision has been made. Like, people want to know what's happened. Like social media and media generally is all about, this has happened in the world. Like you're in the know, you now know this has happened. And if something happened a week ago, it's just intrinsically less interesting. So your content of your actions, of things you've done, needs to happen like on the day, ideally. And that's very easy when you're recording stuff on your phone. Like you can just make it. And if there's a bit of news that comes out, like in the UK, Rishi Sunak has said, oh, you know, this whole net zero thing, let's not do that. It's very important that you get that reaction video out as soon as possible, because if you're one of the first people to comment on something, your video is just going to go really far, because people are going to be proactively looking for content about like this latest news story the moment it comes out. They're going to be doing that much less later. That's when the spike's going to be. So be timely, get it out like when it needs to go, and get it across platform as well. Does anyone have any questions so far? Go ahead, Ndima.
I wanted to raise my hand and I gave you an applause, I see, but that's also fine. How many people do you have working on the social media part of it? Because I really agree on like, I can have a full-time job doing only social media, and when you have to be quick and everything, really need to have people on it. And I'm just curious, actually, also how big is Fossielvrij London, and how do you manage people working on making the videos or doing social media?
Sure. We have 2 members of staff, but we are just about to double our staff team. And it's primarily me that does the social media, alongside being the director of the group. So for me, it takes a very small amount of my time, but that's because once you get going with it and you get experienced, especially if you're quite a decisive person and you're just like, that's fine, pop it out, double check it, great. You can do it quite quickly. I'd say that isn't the usual experience. A lot of people, like for me, I can write a video script in a few minutes. I can then film it, and quickly edit it and put it out. That isn't the case for most people. I'd say, just because of like character and how much experience you've had. So I would say you would want to assume like 2 hours to film a video, like to go there, film it, 2 hours to edit it. If it's like that sort of video. If you're doing it yourself, maybe it's like 3 hours. But it will all depend. It'll all depend on like, how confident you feel writing the script and that sort of thing. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, can you kind of give an example of like something that happened and you think, okay, this is how I make the script. Do you do it in your notes app? Then I do this thing next. Then I check this before finishing a little bit.
Sure.
Like...
What I'll do now I've gone through these like 5 important qualities of a video, which I'm going to try and remember in order. So first was, maybe you will help me remember. First was engaging. Second, as short as possible. Third, the form needs to be, third, subtitles. Fourth, the form needs to be right. Video, audio, all lovely. And fifth, timely. Get it out. So now you know that those are your top tips to make a great social media video. How do you actually do it? Okay, so you know that you need to have a hook at the beginning. So whatever you're doing, you just need to film what's going on, and you also need to film a little bit of someone saying something which is like engaging and brings people in. Like, you'll never guess why we're here blocking this bank or something. But then otherwise you can just film a bit like a reporter. So let's say you're at a picket outside a bank and you're tasked with making the social media. You haven't had time to prepare because life is busy, and you're like, I need to make a video of this. You open your phone onto like the video app, and then you ask someone from the group, would you be happy to talk to me to make a little video? It's not live. Anything you're not comfortable with, we won't use, but it's just you and me having a conversation so other people hear about what we're doing. Would you be up for just telling me like what's going on here? And then most people will say no to that, but you might get some people who are confident enough to give it a go. If they're not, and you are, you can always stand in. And then what I would really suggest is make your life easy. So just get them to answer in like short sentences, and then just record from when they're just about to start speaking to when they've stopped speaking. And then you don't need to go into a long clip and like take bits out, and it takes ages, and you've got to resave the video and save a copy. Just take the clip you need. And if they look awkward and uncomfortable to you, they will look awkward and uncomfortable on social media. So don't let your own social discomfort in the situation make you go, that was great, thanks. And then you haven't got it, because you can't put that video out. Because if you felt uncomfortable when you were interviewing them, the person watching your video is going to feel uncomfortable, because we don't like seeing other people feel uncomfortable. It makes us feel uncomfortable. So just say, thanks so much, let's give it another go, or get someone else. Like, it's very important that it is actually good quality, and you will know when you record someone, are they engaging or are they not? And I would say, if you're happy to like give up on the social media video because you don't want to push, that's cool. But do be aware that if you want the good social media video, you need to get them into a more relaxed state in which they're comfortable and they're speaking. That then goes into spokes a bit more, so I won't talk about like exactly how to do that, but maybe that's another interesting thing for you to just try out, like how to get people to feel comfortable, maybe also modeling it, etc. But you just record clips of them talking about what they're doing. They might say, hello, we're here at Barclays HQ today to talk to bankers about their role in funding the climate crisis, because they've just reported $4.4 billion in profit for the last 6 months, and we're here to tell them we're not okay with it. Stop recording. Brilliant. That was great. And then you're thinking, how do I paint a picture of what's going on here? So you want to get a nice clip close up of other people doing other things as well to put in. And as I say, you want to get a clip of the hook. So maybe they're like, Barclays just reported record profits. We're here to give bankers a piece of our mind, whatever. So you tell someone what to say, you record them. You make these recordings, right? And the first thing you do is you listen to the audio. So ideally, when you're recording something yourself, it's really good if you have earphones with a string that has a microphone on. So you might need a special attachment for your phone for them to go in, but that's a good investment if you're taking like selfie video, and because often phone audio will sort of pick up everything, and it's really nice if you can just hear that person's voice crisply, especially when you get to music, which we'll come on to. Music is quite important to have in the background for most videos. So check that you're here outside the bank and you're recording. Check the audio, like, is it audible? Is it good quality? And if it is, then carry on. If it isn't, move where you are. Like, are you too close to the road? Do you need to go elsewhere? So that would be the first thing you check. Go ahead, Lizzie.
Do you mean like a headphone with like an ear and a microphone, and then put that into, but then you see it as well in the picture, right?
Oh, yeah. So two different things. If you're recording yourself on a selfie video, you're not at the bank anymore, you're in your own house doing a reaction to the Rishi Sunak news, then put your earphones on. It doesn't matter that they can be seen. It's quite normal to see people in earphones in social media. If you're out in public, you can't really use earphones, and you just have to be in the right place to get the audio. You can also get like microphones that bolt onto the bottom of your phone, that have like a fluffy wind breaker on them. So you could get one of those, but I don't use one, and it largely is fine. You just need to check the audio. So yeah, you film. Obviously, you're checking that the light's good before you even start filming. You're doing it in portrait mode. You're making each clip short to make your life easy. And what I'd say, and you're checking the audio. And what I'd say is, most people will need a few takes, because they'll get flummoxed about what it is they need to say, especially if you're giving them lines. Let's say you've pre-prepared a script and you're like, hey, this is what I'd like you to say. And you're saying it to them and they're saying it back to you, or they're reading it and trying to remember it and say it to you. They'll probably need a few takes. favorite the good take when you're doing it. Just film until you got the good take, favorite the good take, or delete the others as you go. But it's quicker to favorite. And then when it comes to edit, you've got a load of short clips of the right length, and you can just pop them together in order, pick all the favorites, and your editing is basically almost done. So I'd suggest that as a way of like quickly doing it on the ground. Never have someone reading what they are going to say to you. It looks rubbish. No point. Do a post, don't do a video. They have to remember what it is they're going to say. If your language is too complicated, it's probably too complicated for all the people with dead brains on Instagram. So just make it simpler, just a shorter sentence, fewer words. It's possible, and get them to say it as if they're talking to you conversationally, pleasantly, casually, in a friendly way. That's, I think, very important. I come back to the point, if they look awkward, you can't use it. So yeah, so that's what you would do. You shape that there, and you might get some extra like nice clips of like what's going on, and try and get into, well, before I say that, when you're filming a person, let's say someone's doing a speech, we've all got very used to like being at a concert and someone's like really far away and we get our phone out from like really far and we're filming them and they're like tiny and we're like happy with that. Doesn't work for Instagram. Like if you're filming someone talking, your phone has to be like here, basically. Like it's got to be in their face, capturing their head and the top of their neck and shoulders, like their neck and top of shoulders. It's no good for them to be over there. Like, yeah, it's not engaging. As much of their face as possible. And you could think, but could I crop it afterwards? Why give yourself more work? Just go closer, and get a good quality image, and don't reduce the quality by cropping. So that's important. And then let's say you're at the bank picket. It's also nice to get interactions. So if you do have like a spare person who's also doing filming, you could ask them to film people going past, because what really does well is if you have like a clip of someone cycling past going, woohoo, or like someone who's a banker being like, you know, smiling as they take a leaflet, that sort of engaging people interacting with you in a way that doesn't make you look like mental or like people don't listen to you is really good, because people who aren't climate activists will look at that and go, who are these weird people? Like, what are they doing? So any evidence that like people are on your side, that helps the audience member feel, oh, I see myself in that random person because I'm not a climate campaigner. And look, they're having a positive interaction with this protest. It's quite hard to get though, because most of the time when those positive moments do happen, you're not currently filming. So I say, like, if you have someone else doing photos, videos, just tell them to be aware of that, because that in a video I think is gold. That's like it'd be amazing to have that in videos whenever you can. Any other questions so far about the process of filming, selecting the clips?
Oh, you were first, Peter. More about like the apps and stuff you're using, maybe.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Just on
okay.
just on the filming, or like you're on the ground, you're filming. Are there any questions on that? And then I'll get to how to do it, how to edit it.
How long is a script? Like when you say make it as short as possible?
Like 5 lines or 6 lines. Yeah, but also it depends what you're saying, because if all you want to say is the UK government spend too much on subsidies to fossil fuels, you want like possibly 1 line or 2, and that's enough. So it would depend on what it is you're trying to communicate and how much people know about it, like how many lines you need to put. But you shouldn't go over 7 lines, because it'd just be too long for 1 minute and 30.
Yeah, you just said, so you asked someone to film someone else, but in your videos it's often also it's yourself, right? The one who films, the one who talks. When do you decide if you talk yourself or if you ask someone else?
I think it's the 2 different forms I spoke about. So if you're an action, ideally you want someone who's doing the action to speak. And that could be me, but the reason it isn't usually is just because my face is on the Instagram a lot already. So if I can get someone else to do it, I do, because obviously we're a massive group. There's like about 100 Fossil Free London organisers. So we just try and get as many other people in it as possible to show how big we are. The selfie video is more like there isn't something going on that I can go film, but I could talk about it. So that's when you'd use that form. Where possible, use stuff out in the real world. I think it's just more engaging than selfie videos, but selfie videos also do very well, especially if you use the green screen and you have changing backgrounds. And you can find that on the Instagram app. You can just like Google how to get it, the green screen. I think it comes up on the side. But anyway, you've got your clips, you've been really sensible, you've listened to the audio, you've made sure the clips are good, you've made people speak in as short a way as possible and be engaging, you've favorited them, you're ready to edit. Okay. If you can't edit on the phone you filmed on, you need to transfer the clips in high quality, not through WhatsApp, not through Signal. Use WeTransfer.com to send clips. It takes a while. If you're not on Wi-Fi, it's a nightmare. But if you can get to Wi-Fi, send it through WeTransfer. If you have 2 iPhones, you should AirDrop. That preserves quality. You've got your clips in preserved quality and you're on the phone that you can edit them on. You do not need a video editor. You go into Instagram, you open Reels and you select, make a new Reel and you select all the clips that are good, that you've hearted, and you pop them in. You can then reorder them. You can crop them. And you can add music and subtitles. What I would suggest is you get your clips, you put them in the app. You put them in the right order and you watch it through to think, is there anything I could take out? Right? And then you ask yourself a question, is this good enough to go out? And maybe at that point, you're like, actually, the person looks awkward. The message hasn't been well conveyed. Something's been said that is wrong. It can't go out. But if it can, and you're happy with it, and it's as short as possible, what you then do on Instagram is you click download. And you save that video and that forms your basis for doing anything else you want with it. So you can put it on TikTok at this point and use TikTok in-app to put subtitles. Or it's actually probably slightly better if you do the same process again with TikTok and you upload each clip separately, but that wastes time, but it might be better for the algorithm. But let's say you want to save time. You've saved it off Instagram, put it on TikTok, then you put it out on TikTok with the subtitles, put the caption. Once you've written your caption, which should be like more interesting information than is written in the video, don't write the same thing again, just have a short caption if it's going to be the same thing. Once you've written the caption, save the caption, like copy the caption, just in case it messes up and deletes it, because the social media apps are rubbish. And sometimes you'll spend ages writing your caption, then you'll lose it. So copy the caption and like paste it in notes or just keep it copied. Then post it, hopefully it's all fine. You go back to Instagram and then you can use that same caption on your other video. And you can also use it as a basis for your tweet. I'll come to your question in a minute because I just don't want to forget the things I'm going to say. The reason you download it before you add subtitles and music is because subtitles are specific in app. So TikTok have their own subtitle type. Instagram have their own. So it just looks better if you use the own subtitles. The reason you can't download after adding music is because it will download with no audio. So you need to remember to download it if you want to use it across platforms before you add music. And as I say, ideally before you add subtitles, unless you want to use the fact there's subtitles for something like Twitter and download that Instagram one with subtitles. So just, to let you know about that sequencing. And I can come on to talking a bit more about music in a minute. Should we go to Leo and then Peter on questions?
Yeah, I think my question has been answered already. So my question was, can't you add, why do you need to add the subtitles on TikTok and not on Instagram? But you can do both then.
Yeah, and it's just more familiar. I think people like seeing the TikTok subtitles. I also think TikTok subtitles are just a bit better. So if you can use them, great.
And you write them yourself or they are automatically detected?
Yeah. Oh, great. Good point. When you put the subtitles on, use auto-generated subtitles, but check them because there are all sorts of mistakes. Never auto-generate and then just post. You need to go through and change and click save. And the best way you're going to learn how to do this is by just giving it a go. just take some clips of something random and just try and make a video on your phone and put subtitles. Take a clip of yourself going, I'm going to practice making an Instagram reel, and like doing a little hook, like what you wish you knew about making Instagram reels, and then put it together, do your subtitles and practice everything we've spoken about. You will only take this on board if you actually use it quickly and learn it, because I mean, that's just how we learn. So I really recommend like actually going into the app and trying to do this. If we were in person, I'd be like, right, now go make one. So yeah, I'd recommend giving it a go. Peter?
I had a similar question as Leo.
Nice. So you've edited it together in the app, you've put your subtitles on, you've checked that they're correct. And you've, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry.
I could put it in the chat also. It's okay.
And you've positioned the subtitles so that they're not clashing with the description that comes up on Instagram and TikTok. So you want the subtitles to be a bit above. You don't want to put it right down the bottom. And if you're editing a video in a separate app, also think the bottom section of the video can't have any text on it because it won't be easy to read. So you put the subtitles in the right place. And then you go to audio and you add a music track. It's very important which music you go for, because obviously you want the vibe of the music to match the vibe of the video. But unless you've got chanting or singing or something like that, it's almost always good to add music. It's very unusual that music won't add something. It can take ages to find the right tracks, and it's good to ask people in your group, like, who might be good at this or have some ideas, because it can take a while. But what's really important is on both TikTok and Instagram, once you've added the music track, you then need to change how loud it is. And usually on Instagram, you want to have it at about 4 out of 100, because you want the main volume to be the person who's talking, not the music. So change that. Then you've written your caption, you've cleverly made sure you've copied it across all things, so you don't have to do the same labor again. That makes it quick. You post it. You don't post it. Before you post it, you ask yourself, should I collaborate with anyone? Is there another account I could collaborate with? Because this is your one chance to collaborate. Which means the video will appear on both your profiles and go to both your audiences. So if there's another group that did it with you or just supports your work and be up for collaborating, do make sure you collaborate with them. And then also just spam tag anyone you think would be interested in seeing your video. So every video we put out, we tag like 20 different accounts, and we really don't get any messages telling us not to do it. So it's a sort of acceptable form of spam. So tag them, it gets your video seen by more groups and hopefully shared. And the final thing, maybe the final thing, would be look at the still of the video. Maybe you upload a special one if you've got like the capacity to make a nice cover in Canva, or you can just like find a place in the video. You can drag this little slider. Sometimes it takes ages to load. And then you can like select that still and even position which part of that video will show up on your profile grid by like dragging and resizing. And I think that's it. We've got 2 minutes left. So are there any questions? Okay, so what I would say then is I'd restate, look over those 5 principles about how short it needs to be, get one message across, and like the audio, visual quality, etc. And then just give it a go, just practice, just use it. And remember that the more you practice doing it, the more comfortable you'll feel. And that includes speaking in front of camera. What I say to people is we speak to other people every day, all the time. We can talk, like we're actually all very able to talk and communicate ideas. We've already got that. So if you can just get comfortable with something pointed at you while you're doing what you've done every day of your life since you've been able to talk, then you can be in a video. So that's my one tip for people who are like nervous about it. Like you can do it. You do it all the time. The phone won't bite you. And it's not live. So it's a good place to practice. And then maybe in the future you can be on the news. Okay. And if anyone has any questions or, anything you want to like follow up on, feel free to message me on the Fossil Free London Instagram. I get those messages. I'm happy to follow up with you. I am slammed at the moment, so I have like much less time, but certainly later in the year or around Christmas, if you want anything else from me, like, or November, like, let me know. And please all come to Oily Money Out if you can. Sign up on oilymmoneyout.uk.
Thanks so much, Robin. It was really, really helpful. Well, we can get off mute and just say bye and thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
So
thank you.
It's lovely.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
You. Bye bye.